Right. Come on. All right. And welcome. Let me get situated. Yes, I do have an address, but welcome everyone. Please like the video for me. Right? Yeah. Okay, I was on my walks and I came into a live that was definitely all about me. Okay, and you guys should not be surprised who it's coming from. Okay, especially if you've been here for the past couple of days and been engaging and following with me, staying connected. I've been talking about this. So it's a few things I would like to put in, well, I would like to respond, but it's a few things I would like to put in perspective. A real perspective of all that's been said, all that all what's been going on, all everything that's been exchanged, all that's been said. Okay. Um, Lord have mercy. Hold on. Hold on. Yeah, it's been some dissonance, some cognitive dissonance. Yeah, like when two parties communicate, you can tell when a certain information or issues are ignored. You can tell what's going on, and that is not just genuine misunderstanding. Um, is someone becoming committed to misunderstanding one party being committed to misunderstanding the next party? So I'm definitely going to address this shit. And feelings do not um, are not equated with accusations. They're two separate things. Your feelings on the issue versus how you go retelling um, what how you feel versus your victimization and what supposedly had happened to you when you won't dare to show it, when you won't dare to communicate what those things is. Only hurling of the accusations is good enough. Nah, not in my world, and actually not in anybody world who has a regard for logic or reason. Okay. Yeah. So yes, you can be sure you can be you could feel that you're shaded and you could feel that you were attacked. But the minute you struggle and hesitate and run, when someone clearly questions and asks you plainly the question, okay, where was the shade? And then they play it back, the very thing that you refuse to play back, everything but the footage. I've shared the footage, okay? This shit has to be shown and clear and transparent. I've shown the footage to my audience. You don't seem to do that. That would be the pudding. When people say the proof is in the pudding, that would be the pudding. Like everything but the fucking pudding. Like, nah, like I don't want, yeah, like the other shit, the additives and the preservatives. Like only what you're qualified to show. Only what you're able to speak of reasonably in a reasonable sense. Now, I did a topic a couple days ago. It's titled something to this effect. It's not hard to find because it will be close to this one. Just a few days ago, but it was something like I lifted the actual audio. Yeah, and I entertained the entire crowd too. So like, it's not just not that this matters, you guys, because hey, I'm one that would if I feel like I'm aligned with reason and logic, I don't care how many people, like in terms of numbers, I'm talking about in terms of numbers. I don't care how many people are willing to go with me. I'm still going to stand my ground. Like, if it makes sense. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about a person that refused to make sense about their accusations. You, Slappy, you did a live and you did what you needed to do. I guess not to say my name. I didn't watch the entire live. I didn't. It kind of went lengthy. Well, for the amount of time I wanted to invest in it. Plus, I ran into too many inconsistencies. It comes off as dissonance to me. And it's so like I just wanted to address that shit and things that were just like, of course, like the shit that I've questioned before. Not true, not true. Things that you like, all this shit like you made up. So we're gonna go through the shit that you made up. That's not that no one here has heard me. Even my most staunch and most avid viewers and subscribers, that no one here has ever heard me say, begin to say. Actually, if they heard me speak to it, they probably heard me speak to the opposite because it was still a whole bunch of that fluff you like to do when you don't like to deal with the actual audio. Like I played the audio to my peoples, and again, it's not about numbers and who tend to agree because, like I said, I'm gonna stick my guns like if I know it makes sense. But when I showed it to my people, like they showed overwhelmingly. I wasn't shocked because I tend to get some fair-minded people who listen to me. I really wasn't shocked. Yeah, because I'm like, I know I'm not tripping though, but like in their mind, they still don't see like how you substantiated it. an attack from the bad optics part of Bubbles' comment that I agree with. They still, yeah. So like they were just as confused. Yeah, like I'm sure you saw the chat, like the things you look past. Like, and you conveniently look past these things. Why not just play the audio so that people can see what you're responding to? Like, a person does not have to be throwing shade, however you guys put it, throwing shade, giving shade, being shade. Like, a person does not have to do that in order to agree with what I agree with. That's part of the dissonance shit that I'm pointing out. A person does not have to attack you to agree with the part of Bubbles comment that I agree with. So yeah, it was questionable, and I brought question to it, and I reminded you that it was left empty and that it was left unfounded. Remember? That's all I said. You don't remember that? That was the bulk of my whole like live, my whole message. Like I'm sure it even ended up in the title, but it was emphasized more than any other point. So that's all. So it, in other words, it's baseless. These are all synonyms. Like yeah, like that's grounds for dismissal. So I mean, if you're comfortable leaving it unfounded, like how did you lead to the conclusion of shade being thrown your way, and definitely the whole attack accusation, that lie that you fed to your audience. Like, so, and I noticed that. So that was like in day one. Like, my approach is changing as the days because in day one, I did my first live was early in the morning, and I was considering that you were in a different time zone, so that could be heard in my live, me saying that. And I was saying, well, maybe Slappy's not up. But then I did one around in that same day around noon. And then I did one around evening. Didn't see you around or whatever. You didn't come around. So you weren't trying to provide, like you were okay leaving your accusations empty, which means not credible. So that's all I'm saying. So, I mean, yeah, it's up to you. So it was a question. And yeah, we can question questionable things. Yeah. Like, yeah, we can. Like, definitely. Like, bold accusations require bold proof. You know, so yeah, it wasn't a match. And when I played it back, the audio to my audience, like it was a consensus. Like, okay, I didn't see because you agreed to that. You know, like I don't see like how you were attacking Slappy. So that's what it was. So I want to address some of your words because that's all I go on. See, I don't come back to my audience and feed them a whole bunch of fluff. First of all, I think that it's a lot among them that's too fucking bright for me to even do something like that. So a lot of them I can't even fucking play in their face. So that's why I'm transparent. That's why I go get the audio. That's why I go get the text that we're talking about. And we don't have to mystify shit and hide shit. What's truly going on? Allow me to look towards my chat. I do want to say hello. Brick Girl, how are you? Brick Girl Helly, how are you, wifey, father-in-law, and how are you, new reality? Okay, that's everybody that's showing me. But how are you guys? Thanks for dropping in. I appreciate it. So yeah, I did write down some things of your words because I want to get your actual words. Just the shit that you came back today feeding, and it still was along the lines of the same unsubstantiated gobbledygook that you addressed in your other shit. None of it's really a match to my actions and what it was that I said, what it was that I agreed to, you know. And no one tried to dictate your feelings to you. I just want you to know that in all my lives, collectively, I was questioning how do you get to call those feelings me throwing shade, and how do you get to call my agreement on the bad optics thing that I agree with Bubbles? How do you get to call that me attacking you? And that's the part that you failed to explain, explicate, show, address, like whatever you put your whatever adjective in there you want to, but that was a failure on your part. And if you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. But yeah, do I have thoughts on people like when they make such a big stink out of what they call their hurt feelings, and when they don't want to explain what's behind it? Do I have my thoughts on them? Yes. Yes. That's normally someone that can substantiate it. Normally, that's the norm, from my experience. Yeah, like, and it's like, and they don't want to say, anything less. But yeah, I didn't say you couldn't have feelings on it. Never did. Never even begin to try to tell you couldn't have feelings on it. I wanted to know why was you explaining my actions and my agreement as me throwing shade at you and me attacking you, because that was the lie you told your audience, and that was it's still unfounded. It's still empty. So if you fine with that, I'm fine with it, because it leaves you not credible. Like that's what it does. So that's the angle I'm taking, because apparently like your shit was so doused with feelings, and to a point that it was toxic, because you was putting that before reason, and I that no, that's backwards, and you never do that. Whatever the situation is, like it doesn't trump um, reason. And it's just like, so I just wanted to know where you was getting it from. That's all I did. That's all I questioned. All right, so let me go through your words. In the beginning of your live, you mentioned that, okay, and this live was about me, whether you mention my name or not. I'm not playing these games. This is an adult sector. I like to be honest and open and shit like that. There's no reason for me to follow with whatever it is that you do. And you were very entertained by yourself, I noticed. You were laughing at yourself and everything. And I'm just like, but all I'm hearing is dissonance, though. Like, and nothing really applies. Like, and especially those people that have been following my lives know it doesn't. But I brought the audio out so that they can finally hear for themselves what this was all about, and so that they can see like how these accusations don't even fit what had happened, And they get to make their own minds up. Not, I don't get to make their mind up. You don't get to make their mind up. Like you made this like a public thing. I said, hey, let's talk about it. I see. Oh, and today you say you washed your hands on me. That's neither here or there. I mean, you kind of said it as if you believed it was consequential to me. Like, if don't ever set yourself up to believe that. If you do, like, if you do, you're doing a disservice to yourself. If you think that was consequential, and I mean, because I don't know, you said it like in this cocky way, or like in a way that it had a bearing. You know what I mean? But of course, I see that just really as part of you not answering the question. Like, yeah, like so now you'll never be able to answer. And I see people do that when they're running from an explanation they just don't have. If you can't support that I threw shade, simply in agreeing with what I agree with, or that I attack you, simply in agreeing with, as if I had to, as if shade or an attack has to be involved in order for me to take that position and seeing it as bad optics. If you believe that, you should be able to support that logically, like and why you believe it. But apparently you can't. The reason you haven't, because that's all I asked for, and I asked for it respectfully. But the reason you haven't is simply because you can't. You can't. And probably those people in my chat the day when I played the audio, and no, nobody was saying like, hey, Slappy doesn't have a right to have feelings about that. Nobody was saying that. But they had the same questions around like, okay, so where's the shade? Like beyond a doubt. And definitely, like, where was the attack? Because they understand that a person doesn't have to attack you in order to take that position that I took in the same way that I took it. Like I can do that without attacking. And it's really the gall and the audacity of some people that think that like in order for you to take that position or see anything related to them as bad optics, that you have to be attacking them. That's the part for me. That's the part for me. But if it was an attack, it should be plain. It should be plain to see. And it should be something that should be supported. Like we're on social media. Where's the audio? Like everything on this shit comes with the audio or visuals. Like roll the beautiful beam footage because I did. Because you get I got and the only reason I did because you kept mystifying it and doing this whole dissonance thing. You know? So I'm like, I'm going to turn towards independent people, meaning like they're not in my brain, they're not attached to my way of thinking, and I'm gonna present it. I'm gonna let them hear everything, which I did, um, unchanged, right, unaltered or whatever, and still they had the same questions. The fuck. So yeah, um, you also mentioned let me see. Um, I guess you said this, I'm quoting. I don't be hanging out with people, telling people what to do and where to go. Guess what? Guess what? I don't either. And guess what? And the comment of Bubbles' comment that I agree with, I didn't do that then. So where's that? This is what I mean, the dissonance. So a lot of your quote unquote commentary that you was laughing at and seemed to be entertained by was along the lines of that dissonance. But it was just shit like that. Nothing applies. Like, where did that come from? Like, you'll be talking about something if you can show that I took that position somewhere. But until you do, like the rest of the empty shit that you had, it's just baseless. Because I haven't said that. And your whole lie was about me. Just lying. All over the place. For no reason. Like, if you feel like you have enough to go on based on what I said, why not just go on what I said? Why not play that to your audience? I played it to mine and actually asked them, like, yo, um, can you see the shade or the attack? Because then maybe they can help you pinpoint it. Again, it's still unfounded. Nonetheless, it's nonetheless unfounded. All of it. So that's all I ask you. But you can get on and talk around the pudding. The shit that only matters, the meat, the meat and the potatoes. You want to talk around that, okay? And make all this other shit up. I'm like, as I'm listening to, I'm like, where's Slappy getting this? Because it never was said. Okay. You said, and people throwing in referencing me, you said people throwing axes at your neck. No. When I played all of the audio back, the consensus, not just to me, but again, like I said, I wouldn't even care whether other people agree. But the consensus before my chat was where questions like, well, where was the axe in order to agree with that portion of what Bubbles said? So no, it was still the questions that I guess you can't provide. Probably because you can't make sense of your accusations. It's probably for that reason, I would imagine. I'm thinking like if you had it, you wouldn't hesitate to say it. Because you're saying everything else around it, right? All this extraneous shit that doesn't apply and doesn't it's not a match, is what I'm saying. So yeah, it can be challenged, it can be questioned. Who the fuck you think you are? Um, but yeah, it can be. You also mentioned your mod, so I see that you're bringing your mod, and I already told you your mod was a do girl, but they go by the name of Kenny G or Kenji. I always assumed that that was a male. Listening to you talk and bring them into the situation tonight. Further, that's when I learned, oh, that's a female, because you never know who you're talking to, even when they're behind accounts that may come off like a male name, like Kenji, you know. That being two words, Ken first word, G, last initial, whatever last word. So yeah, like and you so I'm learning, so I learned that Kenji was a female. This is what you said over there. Um, you said I asked Kenji her honest opinion. Oh, and once you act, and she responded with her honest opinion. And once she did that, I targeted her. That did not happen. So that's another lie. That did not happen. Actually, I have it documented here. I actually put my audience up on what happened. So yeah, I did a live about Ken G. My whole live was a response. Remember, it was a response to Ken G. And I don't care who asked. And Ken G responded to me. Ken G reached for me. You see, and Ken G landed on the same accusations you did. She co-signed with no pen. She landed on the same accusations you did. I'm letting you know that whole pile up group thing, like of a mob falling in line with the person who they mob for in terms of opinion, that doesn't validate an opinion, especially both when both opinions were still unfounded. That's the whole thing. It's not like when Ken G agreed with you, they provided the explanation for the attack, which they never did. Like what? Well, how does agreeing with that aspect of what Bubble said? How is that an attack? Yeah. So no, Kenny G didn't bring that. And you said that Kenny G was targeted. No, actually, I was targeted. Remember, I documented it. And so remember, I'm the one showing shit. You just come to your audience with these baseless accusations, like I stated, and you leave them open, and all you do is just add more false things on top of it, but you don't show anything. And that's for a reason. Why you can't play it? Why you can't show it? Like you don't have to have, but what you have to get on live in order to provide that. You know, same thing in terms of when you pretending to speak for people and you're making up all this shit that's the opposite of what they said. The same thing applies. Like it's no fucking different. Like why, if you have so much to go on, right? And if it's sufficient, why not just go on what actually happened and not add things to it that you know you can't support? And because if it was there for you to support, you'll be able to. Hey, like when I played the audio to my audience, same principle. Like I don't get that part. Like avoiding like the pudding and the shit that we're supposed to be beefing over, and just like and thinking like your feelings is the end all and all to everything, and it's not to those accusations. Darn it. And then you try like the whole thing, like are you saying, oh yeah, he tried to slip that one to you. But when I played it back, my audience can see I was directly speaking to you. Like how do you attempt to like go under the radar and get something past someone when you directly plainly speaking to them? Like it's just that weird shit. Like it's dissonance. That's what you call, you know what I mean? It's like who are you lying to? Or who are you trying to convince? Because when they come back over here and check on these videos, they're not seeing that. That's all. And no one ever tried to oh, and you said that I was mad. No, I wasn't. I'm actually confused. I don't know if you've been on reading my titles and watching my thumbnails, but it's confusion. I haven't met you with mad yet. If I was mad, the name calling that you did that I pointed out in my previous lives, you will be met with that. You know, so I think you may be projecting. You might be projecting, but it can't be said that I use any name call. All right, so let me get to this. The accusations. Okay. Oh, and you also said, I guess in speaking for me, and this doesn't even reflect none of my lies and me discussing. Let me look towards the chat. Hey, how are you, Nessa? I saw you earlier. I can't remember who said, but I saw you earlier. I think I got everybody. I said a little bit there. Okay. Yeah, and speaking for me, you had said that I take this whole mentality or whatever, like that what I did is a small thing and it ain't big enough. I'm quoting you too. You said it's a small thing, it ain't big enough, and it ain't that serious. That's another lie, and that's what I mean by the dissonance. And all of the lies related to this shit. No, it's not a damn soul on here that can pinpoint me saying that, suggesting it, or implying it. See that, and that's what I'm talking about. Everything but the meat and potatoes. Just let them hear the audio, and then we can get around to why I'm reasonably question why did you go over there and tell them I attacked you? Because that's what you did. That's what you did. And why must shade accompany that agreement? Me agreeing with Bubbles on that part of bad optics. Are you saying that there's no way that I could be honest with you and tell you that I see that as bad optics without me throwing shade? Is that what you're saying to me? Is my question. Are you saying there's no way that I can be honest and share that with you that I see it as bad shade without me attacking you? Because what are the attacking words? We communicate on here by words. I was on my panel speaking. You guys were in the chat type. So where were the attacking words and the shady words? Where were the shady terms? This is how we determine shit like that. So no, I know I'm taking the reasonable route. I'm rejecting all of that shit because that's not how I sent it. That was not the spirit in which I sent it. But that's what you're taking and running to while leaving unfounded, baseless. So I just need you to follow that part. But no, that never happened. That's a whole lie. I never attempted to measure your feelings, and I never attempted to begrudge you your feelings. So that never happened. You may have wanted that to happen, but you can. There's no footage, whatever, recording, audio, or nothing of me ever saying that or implying that. Okay, so let's get real. Let's get real. So this is what I mean by the fluff and the bullshit. And people just, it's like, yo, are you pulling this out your ass? Like, like, are you following the same discussion and lives? Because how are you getting that? Where's that coming? And sure, I guess you have feelings. I acknowledge that. I said that in my previous lives. Like, apparently, you have feelings about what was said. So that's been established. Okay. So yeah, like we see eye to eye there. Like but I learned later. And I learned with no communication from you, with you just sticking to your platform and lying comfortably too. It's like you do this. I'm like, whoa, like you ain't even stutter or anything. I'm like, really, and making shit up. But we're gonna touch on that. Let's see. I'm listening, trying to understand what's going on. I am late. So Nessa, what's going on is a couple days ago, I was doing a live, and the live was structured in such a way that I was engaging with the live audience. So that means the chat goes, everyone in the chat. And so that was the structure it was going to take. It was going to just like be us talking or whatever. So whatever they would type about, I would address if I felt comfortable or whatever. And so Slappy happened to be in the chat, and Slappy really don't have not came here a lot. Maybe that was Slappy's second time or maybe first time. So Slappy was there, and Bubbles was there. I don't know if you know a lot about Bubbles, but Bubbles can be an ass at times. And so Bubbles do come through every now and then. Me and Bubbles have clashed in the past, and I have done 3 response videos to Bubbles. I just don't, this is me personally. I just don't perceive Bubbles, and Bubbles has said some shit to me. Oh, trust me. And even had powered up and even had got on fake accounts to attack me. Like right where I peeped it. Because I'm like, how right after you leave this unknown person drop down? And when I said, Bubbles, is that you in the fake account? Bubbles acknowledged it and said yes. So Bubbles have did a world of things to me, but I just never felt the need to block Bubbles or anything like that. It's to me it's personal, but I just feel like it don't go that fast, and I just feel like that's just a person that kind of has that to their that character to that personality that they can be an ass or a troll at times. And I do have a certain tolerance for trolls. It depends on how you troll, but I don't believe that all trolls are malicious. I'm learning. You know what I mean? Um, and yeah, like so, and I allowed them to come over here and take shots at me, but I'm not like rushing to the block button because someone says something unfair, even when they name call. But I will call out that they name call. I will call it out, but it don't mean that I'm rushing to block. It really depends on the person, you know. My big thing is the stalkerish people that keep repeating, and it's like, what is your end goal? What do you think? Like saying the same thing over and over to me is going to do, you know. So sometimes I might want to get them on my side. You know, it's just like, why you keep coming around saying the same thing? It's just like a spam or shit, like a pebble in your stocking. You see, Chad. Yes, I know, Bubbles. I remember you addressing you before. Thank you for the update. Okay, but I didn't even finish out because I went on a tangent. That's it. So Bubbles made a comment, and as I'm reading the chat, I come across Bubbles' comment, and of course I didn't read it to myself first and then read it aloud. No, for the first time as I'm reading it aloud. And so the comment goes like this. It says, and I'm paraphrasing you guys, but it's the same meaning of what Bubbles meant. I just don't know exactly how Bubbles put it, but Bubbles has said, "Slappy, I don't um like or approve of your association with Stomp Down." So that was the first part of this sentence. But then the sentence had a latter part, and the latter part had said, um, I think it's a bad look. I am quoting that part. So that's what I'm equating to optics, you know. And so when I read that, I read the beginning part, and I get because I played the audio back. I thought I read the whole comment out loud. So the first time I was wrong. I didn't even read the comment in its entirety, but I was kind of like vilified for reading it. It was like, oh, and you read that message. Well, I don't know what I'm reading until I actually read it. That's the whole thing. Like, I don't recite the shit first and then read it. Like, no, like I don't have a little dress rehearsal and then read. So a lot of shit is like in real time. Like even when I'm reading comments, guys. Like I'm not always reading it to myself quietly, silently, and then reading it aloud. Like no, when you hear me reading it, I'm reading it for the first time. Period. A lot of times. So that's what happened. But I read the first part, but when it got to the second part, rather than reading that out loud, you can tell I got a little uncomfortable. I did a little nervous laugh, like how I do, and I responded. And my response was, it goes as this. I said, Bubbles, I said, that was bold to suggest what people should do and should not do with their associations. I said, I will never speak to that, and I don't recommend that other people speak to that. I said, but the latter part of what you said about the bad optics, I agree with. So that's what I said. And so this, and as we played it, that was the extent of what I said. I'm not saying that a person cannot catch feelings on it. What I'm telling you guys, like all the lies that I've done devoted to this related to this topic or whatever, I never attempted to tell or say that a person can't have feelings about me doing that. I just want to know, where did I throw shade and taking that view and taking that position, and where did I attack anyone and taking that position. So that was it. And so all of this is unfounded. So, and in our minds, you know, when you do it that way, because you're not doing it by reason or by logic, but when you decide to let it go that way, it's safe for us to assume that because you're angry or because you felt like you were stung by it, by what I said, that therefore it has to be on shade, and therefore it had to have come in the form of me attacking. That's it. That's it, and that's all. So you follow. Okay, I see that you said you get it exactly. Well, I guess you're getting trolled, Bubble. Oh yeah, like Bubbles is. I learned, Bubbles tried. I think Bubbles she tried to deny it in the beginning, but Bubbles, oh, she a fucking troll. The hell? Like, but if initially I didn't even know who. Like when Bubbles first started trolling me, and that was not too long ago. You guys, I wouldn't consider it long ago, but you guys knew who she was, and I did. But like how someone presents a word to you, introduce a word or term to you, and you think you never really heard it. You like, oh, that's uncommon or that's unfamiliar. But once they introduce it to you, you start hearing and seeing that word all the time when you're reading and shit like that. I can compare that to Bubbles. So right after Bubbles showed me for the first time, like Bubbles, I would see Bubbles around. I'm like, oh, so this isn't like a new fake account, because that's what the first time I addressed Bubbles in the live, that's what I called Bubbles. I was like a scary person under a new fake account, but no, Bubbles isn't new apparently, but I didn't know that. It's the first time I saw Bubbles. And it took me some time to learn that Bubbles is a female. You can't really assume that with the name Bubbles, especially in this area. Yep, I think y'all may get what I'm saying. Hey, it ain't foolproof. Shoot, I can't tell if Bubbles is male or female. Nessa, I think it came out like that. Bubbles is a female. Bubbles is a female. So I'm like, oh my god, I remember finding that out. I was like, oh, so this is a fucking female fucking with me. Oh yeah, but actually numerically, the ones that come at me like mostly numerically are women. Um, it could it could be a reflection because women are the numerical majority here. It could be. It could be. And that's why I look like that, bro. So, yeah. Thanks for letting me know. Oh yeah. So wait a minute. Let me get back to this shit. Okay, I was reading the chat. So where did I end off? Let's see. Okay, so you got the breakdown Nessa, of what was actually said, how it was said, or whatever. But you can always pick up on the thread that I was speaking of, called "I Lifted the Audio," and it's at the 28-minute mark, like 28 and 30 seconds, if you want to catch it for yourself, and you can hear what was said. So yeah, so that was what was in question. And as you guys can see, was still left unfounded. Okay. So long as they're cool with it, I'm good with it. Okay. Um, you know, nothing presented, nothing. No reason, nothing. So they good with that. Let's see. Um, okay. So again, I never attempted to measure the feelings and say it ain't that serious. I didn't attempt to downplay. So that never came from me ever. It never even was implied. That's important to point out, to say that, because then you guys realize like, yo, these people are just going and lying. They're just lying. Like, because where would you even get that from? And then it was assumed. So this was Slappy going into this whole thing about how I supposed to feel about it. So this is my thoughts on it. Slappy pretending to represent my thoughts on it, and it was built up like I was painted and depicted, portrayed in a way like that I assumed that it was nothing, and that Slappy couldn't have any feelings on it because, and how Slappy ended it, and that like she was dropping a jewel, and it really wasn't talking about they're not ready for these teachings when it wasn't a teaching. Like that's the whole thing, and it's just like really, but she was like, but you assume that because it happened to me, not you. But that never even once happened. There's never been a time of me speaking to this and addressing this. um, where I assumed that it was a little deal. The only thing I question is, how did you make out what I said, the position that I held? How did you make that out to be shade in an attack? That's what I asked. And you got that. You got that, but you chose to omit that. Like the other relevant things that you tend to omit, like clockwork. It's just like, that's why I'm like, I know there's not a mistake. Because it's everything here except for the pudding, where the proof will lie, where the reason will lie, where it would make sense, where you'll be able to back up and support. Like, hey guys, it's because no one's saying it's a small thing. No one said, but we want to know why you thought it was an attacking thing. And so I don't believe that you're unclear on that. Like, I guess this is your gaslighting or your way of avoiding. So that's fine. That's your choice. Um, and you was like, of course, it will hit different when it happens to you. Guess what? It has happened to me. You should not assume that it hasn't. There have been people that have shared with me respectfully um, what they see is bad optics to things related to me. People many a day here publicly, openly, have had discussions with me about Tracy. I'm not talking about the trolls that bring her up like as a way to side pocket you and like so-called trap you so that they can have like a gotcha moment, like about your associations. But I'm talking about like people that was like, yo, what is this? Like, what is this connection? What is this relationship? What is this tie you have to Tracy and why? And I was able to explain it though. It wasn't anything I ran to my audience to and told them that the person that told me it was bad optics attacked me. I didn't make that lie up when they shared that. So I've been there. I've been there. No, but I guess with people who are emotionally mature, they can broach these type of discussions, and that's actually what I was asking for. If you check my initial lives, my first lives to this, I was just like, oh, like let's have this conversation. Where are we going to have it? I said all of those things. Of course, the things you left out and omitted because that wasn't your intentions. So you don't have any intentions to provide clarity. I mean, let's just be real. Let's just keep it a whole buck. You have no intentions of providing clarity or just explaining your position because I explained mine very well. So yeah, I'm satisfied with how I explained it. You know what I mean? And no, it doesn't help your case. Not that I would go with the masses, but it doesn't help your case that other people that I've shown that said the same exact thing. Like, okay, so where's the attack? Uh, so yeah, it could be questioned. And for you to think that it can be, I just need to know where you're coming from. You're going to have to make all of this make sense as you're painting yourself, because it's like you want to be seen as a victim of something, but you don't quite know what to call the victimization. So you rush for these extreme terms that don't fit the actual audio and the events of that day. That's all. So that's what we're seeing. That's what we're seeing. So I'm gonna need you to follow that much. I'm gonna need you to follow that much. Let me continue and read on. Um, so you said like I won't know how it feels until it happened to me, but as I corrected you, I've been there and did that multiple days, and it never ends up with me taking to my platform and lying to my audience and accusing someone of attacking me. Because they shared honestly with me in a very opinionated way, in a way that they didn't care my feelings or what my feelings would be on it. That yo, I think it's bad optics. Okay, so
Let me move on, and I'm entitled to feel that way, especially with the reason why that I put behind the bad optics. I have yet to hear someone tell me that example in which I cited, which is a real reason. That was a real situation, right? If we are to believe them, the people that placed them there at that crime, that's a crime to children. But yeah, unless you think it's a righteous thing, that's it. That's all. I don't, and that's why I hold those feelings. I mentioned that. So I don't even think that I really had to be shook down to that. But like, yeah, while I'm speaking reason and while I'm speaking logic, yeah, like I don't mind backing it up. Why? Because I can. Like I'm definitely like in a position to do so. I don't think you're in a position to support me attacking you and throwing shade though. Because if you had it, it would be here. That's it. It would be in your lies and your little dissonant raps or whatever. Let me look towards the chat. Let's see. Um, Nessa wrote, all right again. Thanks for letting me know. Random craft. I'm seeing you say misunderstanding, but let me look to it. Here. This just sounds like a big misunderstanding. At this, I, I thought the same thing initially, like in day one, random crafting gamer. But once I got to like my second live and now this particular live, um, I don't think it's a misunderstanding. I believe that what we're seeing at this point is Slappy being committed to misunderstanding. Like what I'm seeing is a commitment towards misunderstanding because I spoke in clear terms. We played the thing or whatever. So yeah, and it's just her adding all these things that never occurred. You guys be here like in my chat at the same time, and I'm like, did y'all witness that? Did y'all see it? And like, I can't get why don't you guys vet me? You know how you guys vet new people that come into the sector. Um, Forget you know me. You know how y'all do to this heat, and y'all try to find inconsistencies and gotcha movements. Play devil's advocate. You people that are in my damn chat, forget what other endearing things you may think of me, and see me as like the people that y'all be hazing and vet and point out inconsistencies and weaknesses in what I've been saying. Everything that I said, anything that I said, related to this, because it's not like because it was depicted like I was trying to be sneaky in the beginning, but I guess maybe she backed off of that. I'm only assuming that because I didn't hear it in today's um rhetoric and in her tonight's rhetoric. I didn't hear it, so I'm like, what is this about, really? Like you don't have. Like honestly, if what you have is sufficient, you shouldn't have to add anything to it. Like let's just get to the meat and the heart, and you tell me what hurt you, and then we can go from there. But it's not necessary to describe the hurt you felt over the position that I take and seeing it as bad optic. Optic is me attacking. Because I'm gonna let you know from the gate, like I ain't ever gotta attack you to hold that position. I don't know who the fuck you think you are. But I ain't ever got to take you to see something as bad optics. So yeah, and that's why I was saying you was projecting, Slappy, because like in your past, and you was like, I didn't know I had alliances. No, that actually applies to me because the more I speak about it and bring like your inconsistencies out, what it's appearing like is you felt an alliance in me, and that somehow this warped, perverted alliance that you saw with me included me not being able to, or that I cannot be honest about what I see as bad optics as related to you, and that's the issue. I feel like that's another issue that you're trying to slip, and it's just like we see you, like so. I guess that came with the very thing that you see, because you got on your live tonight and said I'm white. I'm wiping my hands like like it meant something. Like that's neither here or there. You know, that's inconsequential to a person like me who's self-sufficient. You know? So like it really didn't matter, but you act like you was right. You said this out your mouth. So I'm only going on what you say. But for some reason, when you go back to your audience, nothing is a match. Like it's not a single word that comes from your lives where people can say, you know what, Yamaine said that, and here's the quote, or here's the audio. Here, like none of it is. It's not even comparable. It's just like I'll come back on here with all your words. So I'm actually addressing truth, like something real, I guess, that's coming from you know. And it's just like how much can a person ramble um over fluff, over hogwash, because that's what it was. Let me look towards the chat. Uh, hey, welcome Brown Beauty World. Thank you. Yeah, but I'm saying yeah, Brown Beauty World. But I'm saying I want you to kind of vet me like how they do those other people. Like you know, like the new, you know how they haze new people. They be like, "Who sent you? Where you from?" and all that shit. Like just for a second, like and how they find inconsistencies and shit like that. Like yeah, like um, don't pander to me, okay? Yeah, like regarding this whole thing, don't pander to me. Like, shit, I know when something is unfounded. I know when someone's avoiding the question, being evasive, and allowing something to be empty. Hey, if you're satisfied with that, I'm satisfied. Knowing you're not credible. That's it. That's all. Let me get back to reading. Let's see. Yeah, and I did make that point that when someone I know, whether a friend or acquaintance, does share with me what they say is bad, I may have feelings on it, but I'm not running to my audience and telling them they attack because they hold that position, because they see things that way. That's it. That's all. Okay. And then you stated, and I'm quoting Slappy, you said when someone pulls your card and you respond to them, and you supposed to be the wrong one. So I guess the someone pulling your card was supposed to represent me. When I wasn't pulling your card, I was being very opinionated and honest with you in regards about what I think is bad optics. That's what I did. So let's deal with reality. And that's what I'm saying. Like you keep moving away from that. And try and it's like you try your best to dress something up sinister. And it just like get to it. Like get to the proof of it. Like where's the sinister shit? That's all. Where's the malicious shit? But yeah, it was very opinionated. Um and no one's begrudging you having feelings on it. I just want to know why you run around telling people I attacked you when I did. That's it. Because we missed that in the audio. So yeah, it's just like so it's clearly like you have this thing with like your feelings trump reality. That's sickening to me. Like that's hustling backwards, thinking backwards, whatever. Let's get it. Okay. Um you wrote, let's see. So that was a lie. Okay. And you wrote Kenny G has spoke up for, wait a minute. Oh yeah, you said your mom Kenny G has spoke up for you and was targeted by myself simply for expressing her opinion. I love how you guys lie and do that. It's a good thing I have it all documented like these days. Like away from this live here, these people can catch up lives I did a day ago or whatever, pointing out how Kenny was lap dogging for you and becoming a do girl, doing that type of do girl activity and attacking me with nasty comments in my comment section, name calling, all that shit included. That shit. So that's what I mean. Like this the part you omitted, like in saying like, hey, he's targeting. Now he Kenny G somehow, and then it went from your live, and I mentioned on my live in my response to Kenny G while I was responding back. All of that is intact. All of that is there. It doesn't have to be reinvented. I'm I like between both parties, me and you, Slappy, listening to my lies and your lies on this, I'm gonna be the one that's gonna appear to be the honest one. Why? Because I am. Like, and this is why I don't have to really like focus as you do, like what to say and shit like that. All I have to do is go on what happened. So the part you left out before your audience is before I did the live on Kenji. Um, Before I did that live, Kenji had came into my comments with this nasty ass shit. Directives and dictating to me what I can do, speaking to me nasty. It was a very nasty, mean, ignoramus type comment that can only come from someone of that ilk. Facts. You see how I don't run from these facts. All this should be left out of your shit because you're painting a picture. That's what you're trying to do. Good luck with that. You gonna need it. Okay. Um, I'm good at pointing out these inconsistencies and these weaknesses. That's all I. Hey, look. All I ask you is to support your accusation. And that onus don't come from me. I hope you know that. That onus comes from the claimant. The onus is on the claimant of the person or on the accusation. Okay. So these are rules of logic. So yeah, so don't say he's trying to pressure me and didn't know. I'm just pointing out, like it's someone that hurl bold accusations, you don't support them. So it makes you not credible. That's it. That's all. Because that's the only thing I pointed you to. And I can believe the lies like that you came to your own live with, you know. So good luck with that. You're gonna need it. You're gonna need it. Some bullshit. Let me look towards the chat. Let's see. Let's see. You're way past the vetting stage, y'all. I know, but Nessa, it was an exercise. You guys got to really commit to the scenario, you know, because then it will be said, oh, they're only thinking that way because he influenced them. And it's just like, no, like let's play devil's advocate with me, okay, for a second, and see what we can come up with. All right. Um, I see that Philly T dropped in. How are you on Philly T? It's good to see you. Slappy is like a neon sign and full of bullshit. Okay. Um, so I guess I'm gonna be in trouble or throwing shade and attacking Slappy just in reading this, you guys. And because that's what I was accused of dealing with Bubbles thing. And like I said, um, the first time I read it, I was reading it aloud. It's not like I read it silently to myself first and said, "Oh yeah, this shit is nasty enough to be shady towards Slappy, so let me go on and read it." But this is all this shit is like being depicted. I'm like, really? So I can't. But right when Slappy went and did the first live, she put false accusations from Ken G regarding me on the screen, and um I didn't particularly care for that. And the reason I didn't because it was still the same empty accusations. It's not like the comment that she put on the screen from Kenny G was like Kenny G backing it up. That's all I asked for. Like, come on, y'all, don't leave these accusations empty. Like, let's just find out your reason behind saying it was shady and attack. That's all I'm saying. So, and that was put on the screen, but I didn't come here and tell y'all like because it was placed on the screen that thereby that was shady and thereby that was indirect way of Slappy trying to use a pawn to attack me. I didn't say that, and I didn't think it. More importantly, I didn't think it. So I didn't feed y'all that. So, but this is the if you watch the flow, Slappy whole thing is all emotionalism and this shit, and none of it is real. Like, and if you guys are here in these slides with me, like you'll be able to round about recall what we're talking about, but I'm talking about the details, like of what was said and how with the whole retelling Like this shit is some bullshit. That's all. Yeah, it's to be questioned. Like, who the fuck is Slappy to be like, and he's questioning? Yes, I am. Like, it's so long as you keep putting this mystified, unsubstantiated, unfounded bullshit that you just making up that's questionable. As long as you keep churning that out, like, yeah, like you leaving more for me to question. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I'm a question. And what do you care? You know. But let me read the end part. She said we had to check her on stereo. Play too damn much for me. Okay, no doubt. Okay, I'm another jokester though. Okay, I know I play too much for a lot of different people. Okay, so let's get it. Let's see. Um, let's me read Philly T. She has come after the people who were there for her the most when no one wanted to be involved with her. Okay, I'll take that definitely. Um, And it was just so one sided. I didn't know I would have to hear from that, but like on her first live, just from that comment that I agree with Bubbles from the first live she did, her first response to me, she was just like, she started out calling me ungrateful and began itemizing things that she did for me in terms of a voiceover that I shared with you guys, that I told you guys was Slappy, that I thanked Slappy publicly about more than once, right? Like audio wise and in type. But here's the thing: if you're going to bring that up, because I feel like it was deceptive for her to do that because honestly, it's been a give and take thing. But I'm just not the person that did bring that up. I'm like, should I get on here and itemize what I have done for you? Because you kind of like reference that as if it was like a one-sided thing, as if we didn't like support one another, and how I didn't reciprocate favors because I did, and I know she didn't miss that. So it's like, why even bring that up? So that's the part for me. Like that's a turn off. Though. It's like, why even bring that up? You know what I mean? And honestly, I only asked two things of you, but I reciprocated. But listening to you, when you go into these rants about what you've done for me, your audience will never learn that unless I have the nerve to get up on my fucking platform and tell the truth. And it's sad. But this is how it gets to all of these meaningless things about and who gave for who, and who did a favor, who paid a favor to who, and who did what for you. None of this was financial. I want to put this out there to you guys. None of it was financial. Okay. Um, um, but yeah, but who did this for who and who? So it was all like bartering and favors. Okay. So yeah, and it's just like it went back and forth, which is how it's supposed to be, if you ask me. I just think it's petty, like and I can get petty if someone's doing that, but it's like, why am I like because we had a falling out over this thing here? Why am I itemizing what I did for you? Like, is that really getting to the crux? Like no, like is that the resolve? Is that the panacea? So, but yeah, it gets into that with messy people. Let's get it. Um, when they wanted to be involved, exactly. Philly T, Kenny G had called themselves calling me out talking about, and he clicks Slappy link, which I haven't done in some time, but sure, like when I wasn't a content creator, yeah. But the part that Kenny G don't know about, because Kenny G was not even a thought or around or my for Slappy, is that when Slappy first announced that she was getting her own platform and becoming a content creator, I told her that I would come over there and support her in such a way to click a link, because at that time no one was. So yeah, I was around like the time with the first people to click her link. It takes a while to catch a momentum where it's like a lot of people clicking it, or when people do it regularly or wherever you drop it. Yeah, like it doesn't. Yeah, like the flow that you see on James' page when he had those days when he dropped a link, or on Tracy's page. That shit ain't with everybody here. Okay. You'll find yourself as a budding content creator dropping links for months before someone even attempts to click on it, you know. So you could be in that in that portion, that demographic of people. Yeah, but like, yeah, it's not this instant thing. But yeah, but he kind of made it seem like I should like that was part of my ungratefulness or something that Slappy did for me. And I'm like, no, actually, really, it wasn't. Like, I could have passed. Like, y'all see the shit that I click links for? I could pass for a lot of that. Like, a lot of times, it is me getting on the platform and engaging with the host. I do have a reputation for doing that and getting on a link and saying, "Hey, I'm just saying hello to you. Haven't seen you in a month. So haven't talked to you. So what's going on? What are we talking about? What's the topic? Like that's not uncommon. Yeah. So I make small talk. Okay, sue me. Like, and I really don't even see people making big talk here when all that talk is around other people. If y'all haven't noted, I wouldn't call that big talk. Let's see. Hey, welcome, Michael Angel 69 vlog. How are you? Thanks for dropping in. Please like the video. Um, and see, I haven't this random game crafting gamer. And see, I haven't watched the live you're speaking about. That is why I don't chime in. I only spoke to her and you. Okay, I only spoke to her and you. I'm not sure what you mean by that, but I think you probably mean you spoke to me and Slappy. Then what live are you saying you hadn't seen? I guess that's my question. Random crafting gamer. What live hadn't you seen? I must have referenced a live. Let's see. Have a nice day, hoes, no doubt. Thanks for dropping in. Mac Angel 69 vlog. Thank you so much. I hope that you subscribe. Thank you. Oh, from the Philippines. Yes, 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 yes. Thank you. See, I told you, you guys have been connecting. ¿Cómo está? ¿Cómo está, po? Um, but I've been connecting with just viewers from the Philippines. I also follow them. So thank you so much, Mac Angel 69 vlog. I didn't know. Thank you. And a lot of them don't even speak English sometimes. So it's very challenging. Okay. Salama, Salama. Let's get it. Um, Philly T writes, I play a lot too, but when I say she plays too much, is that she comes after people who have been supportive, okay, of her. No doubt. I don't think she sees it, you know, but and I guess to think that she would think that you have to be shading her to feel that way. If not shading her, that was an outright attack. You're attacking her for saying that. So I guess. I don't know. Hey, what is up, Nihar? It's good to see you. Hey, Nihar, I still be dipping in. Oh, I hate the fact that I don't know his name. Oh, so debonair. There you go. I got it. I got it. I got it. So debonair. I be dipping in to his little discussions ever since you introduced me to him. But now that I've been over there, Nihar, like I kind of have a little background because I've been around. I'm like, oh my god, like I know who he is. I know who he is. So yes, I do remember him because he's connected to oh lord, that whole big large panel thing around all of that okay, confusion and all all that problematic shit with the Avatar Monica. Okay. But yeah, that's where I know him from. And that's where what is it, Kempire? You know what I'm talking about the Kempire. But he comes from that school too. And so does the chick, the lady. Uh, and she kind of talk, what's that name? I think you know all of those people. Damn, not Diamond. But like her people are like diamonds. They represented by diamonds. You know what I'm talking about. Let's see. Say E A E I O U. And sometimes why as it is. You were both huffing. Right. It was given to you. Yeah, like um definitely. I've done favors that I charged people for. So but that didn't happen. So that was a service done. Um let's see. Oh, the one you cut the clip from. Yeah, I mean. But I will check it out. Okay, no doubt. But that clip was short as fuck. Like in the live in which I cut it. Not the live in which I said it, the live in which I cut it. The reason that went as long is because I kept stopping, going back, and explaining each and every word so as not to leave anything else so that people wouldn't have any question about what I meant. Because it was initially stated like, yo, like he tried to pull some slick shit across, underneath my eyes, like I was trying to blindside her with shade. Just like no, I said it very plainly, like knowing, recognizing you was there and acknowledging that you were there. That's how I said it. That was a whole context. Like, please don't change the context to try to paint something that's sinister because all those elements that you're trying to place just wasn't there. And if it was, like, point it out. That's it. Make us see it. Okay. Make me a believer. That's it. Because I'm not going. That's it. So I'm clear on what it is that I'm saying and the angle that I'm coming from and all that matters. I'm focusing on all that matters and all that I said. I'm rejecting all of this made up bullshit that I just read to you guys. I don't think it's necessary in order to address me or go back and forth with me because that's what it is for Slappy. So Slappy's gonna be trying to bash beef with me now, as Slappy does with the people that Slappy beef with. Regarding the position that I took on the bad optics. So I don't think I'm wrong in that assessment. That's what the lies have been. Like if we're going according to the lies, right, and that's all we go on, what else do we go on? But the words that's being said between the two beefing parties. Apparently that's the direction that Slappy is headed with. Okay. So don't say I didn't say this, peep it or whatever. Please no. Let's see. Um Mihar writes, cool. Philly T wrote, it has been you and two other men that I should not name that has supported her when no one else would, and she shit on all three of you. No doubt. No doubt. No doubt. You know. Um, let's see. Leah, yet and Princess. Wait a minute. Yet and Princess was part of the Avatar. Oh, yeah, but I'm not talking about Princess. Um, yeah, Princess was there. What is the other woman? Let's see. No, I would have to leave this live like to check it out. But yeah, no, it's not her. It's a black woman. She's older. People, I remember people were saying that she was trying to buy herself in. They were treating her like that. I think people try to make her out to be a drunk or whatever. She talks about finances, budgeting, money management. That's a few things she talks about. She also gets in on what they would talk about, with the reality shows and I guess pop culture and celebrity gossip, right? Because they spend a lot of time on that, right? Um, okay, Mac Angel 69 from the Philippines. How do I say? What is it? Pinoy Pride? I don't know if I'm saying Pinoy right. Pinoy. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Sorry. Okay, and Philly T is ended by saying thank you for the likes. Please subscribe. Okay, you guys, I'm not gonna drag this out any further, but this is my address based on the live. It's my response to the live. What it was that I seen, what I heard. It wasn't the entire live. I didn't watch it. I can see that at some point, Kenny G, I'm sorry, Kenji, the female, we were calling the female, had got up on the live. I'm sure it was all about me, but I'm sure it was all lies. And I didn't watch that. I didn't watch that part. But here's the thing: when I, if I do, and if I do watch that part, right? And because I can always do another live, and I like to keep shit separate. Like when people try to confuse you and pile up, I still like to keep things separate. You know what I mean? So like I don't always be like set to do like a live with everyone who tagged me. Like I like to keep it separate or whatever. But let's say that I caught up with what Kenji said. If I dare to respond to all the lies, all the inconsistencies, all the shit that didn't make sense to Kenji, and Slappy's next live, I'm sure Slappy will be saying the same fabrications that Slappy said today in terms of, oh, and he's targeting my mind when I'm actually responding back to untrue things your ma had put against me and reaching for me. So it's just that whole thing. That's not a misunderstanding. Like I think, I think people say that I don't know as to put forth some type of way to explain it, but I'm just not convinced. Like that's someone being dedicated to misunderstanding another person, and but in so many words, that means that's someone that's fighting. When people do that, they're fighting. Like when they become dedicated to misunderstanding what you're saying, when what you're saying is reasonable or respectable, and shit like that. Or even if it isn't, where you can be seen as the most respectable party because you haven't resorted to name calls, none of that shit. You haven't lied, you haven't embellished stories, exaggerated on anything, added on anything. Yeah, like what is your issue? So yeah, we know that what I said hurt you. Like we already established that. No one didn't say that you couldn't have feelings on it. So that was never implied or said. So I'm still wondering like where you're going with this. You know. So let's see. All three of you. Okay. It's called willful ignorance. Yes. And weaponized. It at this point, Philly T is both. At this point, is willful ignorance, or maybe I should just throw a little word inside of that, is willful weaponized ignorance. People weaponize ignorance and pretend like they don't understand. And it's just like no, like it's still an empty claim. That part. Like that's it. And it's still unfounded. That's it. That's all. Like until you speak up for yourself. Why? Especially when you fighting. When I'm fighting, I'm speaking up for myself the most. Not qualifying that, not even speaking to that, speaking to all of this extraneous shit that doesn't matter. Like I don't get it. All that shit was unrelated. So thank you guys so much. I'm about to cue up some music and be out of here. You guys go. Thank you so much for hearing and following this. I'm gonna need you guys to follow this shit as it go on, because the only thing that I can predict is that in these coming days, these future lives, that I'll be able to add more content, and it will include me responding to the lives that Slappy has put up, um, particularly if there's inconsistencies. Um, and I'm pretty good with seeing lies. I'm pretty good with detecting. Like, so yeah, like, and I'm pretty good with remembering what I did and what I said, you know, and just context, keeping all of that, um, yeah, keeping all of that together, like, and looking at a situation, right? So that's all I wanted to know is where you got all that crazy extra shit from that you added to it. That's all. Where did it come from? If not your feelings, where did it come from? Did it only come from your feelings, like based on the fact that you have feelings on it? Is that why you feel that way, or do you think that way because it's something that came from me that I actually did? And that's my only question. Is that an unreasonable question? So yeah, unless you're saying that I can't ask a question why you come to describe it the way you did before your orders. I mean that's crazy to me. But yeah, that's all I'm asking. I believe those people that have gave this a fair listen understand my point. I'm talking about fair minded, and I'm not talking about anyone that stand for me. You know, got my and I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about this could be a person that don't know me, just listening to this, like doesn't make sense. That's it. That's all. What you talking about? All right, let me get out of here. All right, thank you so much, Nessie. Right, feelings aren't facts. Right, and that's all. And I didn't say my words didn't hurt. Never said that. So stop it. Never said that. It's like, where the fuck are you going with this? Honestly. So, oh, also, if you wiped your, here's another point before I leave, you guys. A person that truly wipes their hands will not find a need to keep revisiting day by day by day the topic of talking about something when they wipe their hands from. So this came from Slack. I guess I was supposed to felt rejected. I guess. So please, let me get to this shit. Like I guess I'm supposed to I don't know, like feel lacking. Look, I don't look. Y'all would have to listen to it yourselves and how it was thrown or said, spoken, delivered, whatever. Like it's like, what do I do with that? You know. So let's get it. Hey.